Hello, and thank you for joining us for an episode of That Solo Life, the podcast about PR pros and marketers who work for themselves. My name is Michelle Kane. My company is Voice Matters, and I am here with my wonderful co-host Karen Swim of Solo PR Pro, the trade organization that gathers all of us solos and is really a wonderful space to learn from each other. Karen, hello. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Michelle. How are you doing?
So far, so good. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. I can only report on the current status.
I've been having I don't know if you're old enough. Well, I know how old you are, but
Probably.
I don't know if our listeners are old enough to remember, things that make you go,
Oh, yes, yes.
But my moment today was, and I'm so late to the party, so whatever, don't judge me. I bought a new MacBook Pro, and I am an Apple user. Don't hate me.
No.
And I have a MacBook Air, but I went to go plug my earbuds into my MacBook Pro only to discover there's actually not a port for them. No. And it just made me go, why would Apple make a product that wasn't compatible with all of their other Apple products? And it really baffled me to the point of, what do we do when we're confused about everything? We Google it. So I Googled it and I'm like, am I crazy?
They want you to buy something new.
Earbuds on us that didn't have the regular pen connector to, they switched over to this lightning connector, which was already weird.
Yeah.
And before I changed my iPhone, I had to buy an adapter so that my old earbuds worked. And now that I have these stupid new earbuds, apparently they only work in the iPhone, which made me go, And that's not our topic today, but.
No, but that's a valid point. Yeah. I am in the Android universe, and I have had a Google Pixel, and they're the annoying USB-C. So it took maybe a year or two for the charging world to come up to speed. You'd go to a conference or something, and there would be charging stations, and it was about a solid year or so when I would just go, not for me. Thanks,
so
Google.
Annoying.
It is,
and yeah. I honestly wish that all these companies would standardize, earbuds and cords, because making your proprietary brand is not the thing that makes you choose the device, people.
Right. No.
Really, honestly, isn't. It just makes our lives a little crazy. So
yeah. We can see through.
Work together on this, please.
Yeah, we can see through your need to have us buy something else of yours to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least, if you're in this universe, I honestly was seriously confused. And I know, again, late to the party, but I was seriously baffled, thinking, I don't understand.
Why? Yeah, you would think across a whole platform of products that things would work together. No matter.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to use my wireless headphones. Yeah. I would want to have a wire connected to me. It's weird.
No, not at all. No, I'm there with you. I've been trying to adopt a habit of wireless earphones and things only because I know that day is coming when they'll get rid of the jack too. So I thought, well, I better start to get used to this. And it's funny, the more and more I see what I thought, at first I thought the earbuds looked ridiculous. And now, of course, the more I see people broadcasting from home wearing them, you're like, oh, it's not too weird. Okay. Yeah. But today we are going to talk about something a little different. We're going to take a little turn because we both felt this craving to get, we're not back to normal. We're still in the thick of the COVID-19 crisis, but we're tired of talking about it right now. And we thought maybe you might when you hear from one outlet that's not talking about it. So here we are. We want to talk about websites. And do you really need one to do business online? I think you do. And kind of akin to Apple, not having products that line up across the board. That's not just because I would want to sell you one.
Yes, this is true. And it's funny because websites technically are an old school technology, right? They've been around for a really long time.
They have, yeah.
And I think that when, like Facebook was the first to come out with business pages. And so a lot of people, said, I'll just have a business page because this is where everyone is anyway. Or I'll just use my LinkedIn profile. And I would like to say from the outset that, of course, there is an outlier for everything that we say. I actually know a couple of those outliers that do very well without websites, but today we want to make the case for why you should actually consider a website and why we still believe that it's relevant.
Right. I mean, it all comes down to you want to own versus rent.
Yes.
Especially when social media exploded onto the scene. A lot of businesses would just go on, make a Facebook brand page and think that's that. But I mean, okay, our warnings of Facebook could just disappear one day have not come to fruition, but still, you want a home base that's all yours, that you pay the fee for, you own the URL, you solely control the content, simply because of the what if factors of others. I mean, who knows? Something could happen with your Facebook brand page. You may unintentionally do something out of bounds and poof, there goes your content. That could happen on any online channel. And it really also lends a bit of credibility to your business. I think, claiming that footprint, that digital footprint, lets people know that you intend to stick around for a while. It's almost like you're setting down roots. You're having a foundation. I think it communicates more than just your hours and your offerings and things like that.
Yeah. And I love I love the profound simplicity of your analogy of renting versus owning. It's perfect. And it's one that, everyone in the marketing world kind of articulates in a different way. But I love how simplistic that is, that it's powerful. It's easy to remember.
Yeah.
But I'd like to add, another nuance to that as well. So often we think about the control, right, as the defining factor between why you need a website and you shouldn't only rely on social media. But I would also like to inject the reasoning that it's really about organizing information. So it's really about your user experience.
Oh, so
on
true.
Facebook, you're limited to how they choose to present information, how that information is organized, what you actually can share. And same with any of the other social channels. On LinkedIn, you're limited to the things that they allow you to present, and you can't customize your layout. On your website, you have really full control over how you organize information for your users. And I want you to take a moment and think through your buyer's journey. So solo PR professionals particularly tend to think of their websites as you said, simply, a digital business card where it has the basic information. It's got, how to find them and sort of their services. But what are your buyers looking for? And what's the journey that they walk through? If you don't have a website, you probably don't even know that. You don't have a good handle on that because you have no way of tracking your buyer's journey. You can't really do that through a LinkedIn profile. You can't really do it through a Facebook business page. Through a website, you can actually map that journey. You can gain an understanding through actual data of what pages people go to, and you have a way to present them which with much more information. You can put your customer case studies, and you can put service pages, and you can, fill it with information and make it easy for people to learn more about your company rather than digging through, these social media sites that don't make everything easy to find.
Right. No, so true. So true. We say this to clients all the time. What do you want the consumer to do when they visit your site? Give them a decision to make, guide them to it and through it with ease. And, you can really only do that on a website versus a social media page. Now we have the current iteration of Google My Business is a strong suit as well, but that's the box that comes up when you do a search. So, and yes, there's more to it now for sure. And Google even has a little, what they, consider a website maker, which, I don't know that I recommend, but sorry, Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with a website, you have control to construct,
And I know that a lot of times we sometimes break these into, generational preferences, but I'll give you an example outside of our business. I know someone who has added a second line of business during the coronavirus crisis, and she is making masks, cloth masks with different patterns. And she realized that using social media to connect with buyers wasn't going to cut it. It wasn't functional enough. So, again, a lot of people will use Instagram to present their products, or they'll use a Facebook business page, but you still need a functional store if you're in the B2C business. So not just B2B people, but in the B2C business. And so she's creating a website, and there are just so many uses to that, because again, you have to make it easy for your buyers to find you,
right,
to select you. And I know that we have this false, I believe, narrative that, millennials and Gen Z, they don't care about that. They just want to do everything mobile. But guess what? Today's websites are mobile responsive. They can still be on their phone. So it's a matter of, it doesn't mean that you should throw out, a website completely in favor of social media. You need both. You actually need both.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and that's not even to begin to talk about the SEO aspect of it.
Yes.
You need to keep Google fed.
Still a thing. Still a thing in 2020.
It is. Google likes new information, which, makes a whole other case for consistent blogging and case studies and updating your sites too in different ways. So yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely something you should have. And if you're new to this, or you're listening to this and you think, ugh, it's just so overwhelming, you can do a lot with something very simple. With a lot of, with some of the nonprofits I've worked with, where I know they're a very lean team and they need something that they can update quickly, there's no shame in the Squarespace game necessarily, because it's got a nice dashboard where you can quickly update your hours, you can quickly write a blog, and they have really improved their means of making sure that you get found online as well. So, don't fear it. The one thing I will say is protect your domain name like you would, almost as much as you would protect your own life. You do not want to lose your URL. Once you register that, make sure it's on auto renew. Just don't lose that, because that's not a good time.
Especially if it's a really good one, because squatters will register the domain and sit on it until, and wait for cash offers.
Yes.
To purchase it. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I think that the reason that a lot of people avoid the whole website issue is because they don't feel like they're tech savvy enough to tackle it. And it becomes an overwhelming thing, especially for, a solo PR pro when you're busy, you're doing client work. and you put this overwhelming amount of pressure on yourself
Yeah.
to have this perfect site. So I see solos do this all the time. They get in the weeds about the design and the colors and the logo and the pictures. And my advice is it's not that serious. Yes, you need a website.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as the perfect website. It's really hard these days to do a horrifically bad one. I mean, grab a theme and hire somebody to, set up a site for you. There's all kinds of options. There's Squarespace, there's WordPress. I mean, there's a lot of different options today to make that process really easy.
Right.
Turn it over to somebody else and let them set it up for you. And don't overthink every single detail of it, because this is where we make our mistake. And remember, people are not hiring you to be a website developer. They're hiring you for skill sets that have nothing to do with web design. So, I mean, give yourself a little grace and kindness, and don't spend $10,000 on a site.
Oh, goodness, no, don't do that.
Please don't do that.
No.
But there are, very affordable, cost-effective ways. And again, I think it sort of helps to just hire somebody, let somebody else drive that ship so that you're not in your head about it. And that's particularly difficult for people in the communications industry, whether you're, a writer, public relations, a social media strategist, because we just get mired in the details, and it's really not necessary to do that.
So true. So true. And yeah, I mean, my own website has been in this, it's fine, but it's definitely don't do as I do as I say. In my mind, I have the next phase of it planned out. So yeah. One other thing to think about, and the advantage of having a website, is it's a great means to build your email list. So I'm always a big fan of, make an offer, if you have a downloadable, something that, good tips, valuable content that people might, hand over their email address to access, because we all know the game by now. It's, it's out there. Yes, we will contact you if you give us your email address. That's kind of the point. So if you pass that barrier of trust, your email list is also gold, because again, that is your direct pipeline to an audience that has already expressed interest and trust in you. And that is something that, you should cultivate as well. And yeah, you can, there are ways. Yeah, of course, they have the widgets to sign up for our email list on Facebook and things like that. But, really doing it from your home base is probably, again, a simpler way to do it. And it's important.
That's such a great point. I knew that many, many years ago. And so I always give that advice too, because sometimes the things that you didn't do as well, teach you lessons, and you're able to spare someone else from, making the same mistakes that you did. But you're so right. Even today in 2020, and I know, again, we have this over reliance on social media.
Yeah.
And social media is not a standalone tool. Yes, it's powerful, and yes, it's important, but it's one tool. So your email list is a personal conversation with your audience. And even if you decide to pivot your business, having a built-in list of people that you regularly communicate with, I cannot state the value of that enough, as Michelle said. And so she's right. Doing that from your website is really the perfect way to do that. You want to drive people to your site. You should be using social media to direct them to your site as well, because it's like inviting people into your house. If you're always just meeting for coffee somewhere else, that's pretty tough. But you want to advance that relationship, and you really want people to get to know you, to get to know your brand, and you you want to be able to show them more of what you have to offer. And that's really hard to do if you're using social media as a standalone tool.
That's an excellent point. It builds on the whole own versus rent. And it's true too. And look, I'm guilty of this in my own personal practice. You just want to throw something up on your Facebook page, whereas you should take that extra, and it's only 10 or 15 minutes. If it's a link to something and it makes sense, pop it in a blog post on your website and then put that link out on social media. And then, you're going to get people, coming up to your door, so to speak. And you want them, the idea is then they might stick around, click a couple of other pages, see what else you have to offer. It's all about, social media, certainly it's about creating community and building that sort of brand community. But it is also, there's a reason why we call them channels. It's a channel to direct them back to you. So all the more reason to have a website, and, one that can function for you in this era of COVID. It's great that they have the capability to start e-commerce. If you're a restaurant and you've been reluctant to, have your menu online past, say, a scan of a PDF scan of your menu, you've taken the leap. I'm sure you've now have the capability to pay for orders online. So, setting that table now is key.
Some people have not. I'm surprised, a lot of restaurants had to scramble to make that technology happen. And, the restaurant industry is another that's famous for having a Facebook presence only, doing everything on Facebook. What about the people that don't use Facebook? Because there's lots of them, and there's lots of younger demographic that don't.
Yeah.
One of my frustrations is when I'm checking out a new restaurant, I actually do want to go to their website. I want to look at the menu. I want to look at the pictures of dishes, and I want to do it in a single place. I don't want to have to hunt stuff down on your Facebook page or try to figure out where the menu is and then enlarge it. So that, it's really a pain.
Yeah.
I find it easier to just go to their site. Sometimes I want to read the founder story. If you are somebody that likes food pictures, and I don't know who you are, if you don't enjoy food pictures, especially if it's food you like, you want to look at those. I like looking at the menu and what they use and their approach to food. So again, give people what they want. And having a Facebook page may be easy for you, but also, especially during this time when there have been rapid changes. Every week restaurants have had to pivot. So hours are all over the place. Putting it, if you, direct people to a website, you don't have to go and update Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and try to make sure that people read the last post. Because remember, people have to go back through. They go back to your Instagram and they're scrolling through like, okay, well, when was this post?
Right.
Was this today? Was this last week? On your website, it's easy to do a quick update. You can even have like a hello bar across the top of the homepage screen that says update, hours are, and it's there. People don't have to hunt it down. So I also encourage small restaurants, independent restaurants. I don't know about the chains, but small restaurants, have a website, please, and use it to place updated information. Don't make us work that hard to eat. So we love you. We want to support you, but
we do. And so we've debunked 2 marketing myths today, PR and marketing myths, where I try not to roll my eyes when I see people trying to be so cool. Like, email's dead, man. No one wants email. Yes, we want the email. And stats show, and no, I don't have them at the top of my head, but stats show that email does still work. I might not read the first email you send me via Constant Contact, MailChimp, or some other means, but if you send a variation on the theme a couple of times, I'm cool with that, because I will pay attention to at least one of them. Not saying you spam the inboxes. And then, and the other one is that people don't like food pictures. All the too cool for school people going, oh, you're going to post a picture of your lunch? Yes, I hope you do. It might inspire me.
It might inspire me. Yeah. And if somebody else's hands make it and there's a place I can go to buy it, I'm all over it.
Oh, you know it.
So please, restaurants, make it easy for me to find those mouth-watering pictures of food, of those good plant-based meals that you guys are out there preparing and hiding on your social media pages.
So I think what we've come down to is that, yes, you really should have a website. No matter what your business is, it doesn't, it could be just a single page that you update from time to time, depending on really what your business is. You always want to have what's appropriate for what you're doing, but you definitely want a home base, someone where they can just quickly pull up and, even if it's to find your phone number, that's okay. So we really recommend that. And well, we just hope you've enjoyed this break from the news cycle and a return to a little bit of just the day-to-day. I know we've enjoyed the respite and we hope you found this information helpful. But if you do like what you hear, we would love if you would share this podcast, share it with your friends and your colleagues, subscribe, find us wherever podcasts hang out. And also on the home base for Solo PR Pro, soloprpro.com. And thanks for listening to That Solo Life.